Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lock Shop. Keyword for that trip to Vegas coming up around 11:20 today. That's when we'll give you the word, and then at the end of the show, we will call a qualifier a little bit later on after we get to all of our golf picks today. Huge golf episode today. Looking forward to that, and I can't wait till Huss pops by. Pat Gregoire is going to hop on today as well. We'll obviously dive into the wide world of golf. Interesting Players' Championship. I mean, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of different markets over at Coolbet. But what a day. I know Huss will be Barry Horowitz in us when he rolls in here today. You got to love it. Yesterday, we hit the partner parlay. We'll talk about the Florida Panthers' huge, critical lock shop partner parlay comeback. The other two games were never really in doubt, so that was good. The nasty chat parlay, the plus 850 hits. That's on you, nasty chatters. Well done. If you are listening, if you are just listening right now on iHeartRadio or on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, I'm telling you, the nasty chat is where you got to go. They got the picks flying in there like crazy. Also, we'll get to that. The Lock Shop play of the day has hit both days to start the week. The Coolbet hotline of the day on the Nielsen show has hit both days to start the week. Love to carry some of this momentum over to the Players' Championship. Got an EST parlay that will drop. I've got that locked and loaded, ready to go. I'll fire that over to the boys. We'll get that up. If you got any plays on the Oilers and Caps tonight, feel free to chime in over there. But let's bring in Huss on just a glorious, glorious Wednesday after a hell of a Tuesday. Huss, how great was that?
You know, that was the night that we needed. That was the night that I needed. I can tell you that much.
Huss, you're good to go. Keep going. I can't hear you, but you're good to go.
Okay, to the nasty chat. Fellas, incredible work last night. And the crazy thing about it was, I know Jake was doing a great job kind of harvesting all of your picks and selections. The shot prop that did not come in had 5 guys on it. 4 of them came in. And it was only Marty Neckash that did not get his 3 shots. It almost was a 3-for-3 night, which would have been absolutely, absolutely insane. But when I saw early on that Jamie Benn got a point, I clicked onto the Philly Sharks game and saw that Travis Konechny had 2 assists.
Yeah.
Realizing that all we needed was a McKinnon goal for a plus 850 banger. I was thankful that I am part of the Lock Shop team, and was thankful that we have sharp brains like yourselves in this chat to put things together. That was a phenomenal win. And I think the good karma, the vibes, the momentum that nasty chat prop parlay, I think that literally karmically willed the Florida Panthers to score 3 goals in the second half of the third period, storm back, beat the Dallas Stars, which I was especially happy with because that helps the Jets big time. And then all we had to do was sit back and watch the third period of an Avs team that was up 4 goals on the Calgary Flames to cash that 551. So
cruise control.
An absolutely huge night. I saw Penner's Pancakes said, so just curious, not a better yet, but what would a $100 wager return yesterday?
Oh boy.
Well, if you did it on the plus 850 parlay, essentially you would have bet 100, you would have won 850 on that. So that would have been 950. And if you did a $100 wager on the partner parlay, that was at plus 550, your $100 would have returned 650. Now, it should note, I believe the limits, because of the boost that we get, are so good. The limits are...
There are some limits on it, yeah.
There are lower. I mean, I'm usually throwing 25 on our parlays. That's kind of my standard unit on Lock Shop Partner Parlay or Nasty Chat or whatever. So that's what I did last night. And there's been a couple of occasions, depending on the number, but it's usually in and around that. I think you'd have a tough time getting more than 30 or 40 on it. But anyways, just to answer your question, that's the easiest way to do it. If something is plus 850, $100 bet would gain you 850 off of that, so it would return 950. But anyways, and I'm doing all of this, Dusty, while I'm really grinding Players Championship
research. Of course.
So to see both of those come in and know that, and one of the things I did do, and we'll get to this with Pat. I mean, I'm really leaning towards this. Normally, when we're going and we're betting, 40 to 1s and 60 to 1s and 80 to 1s, I will usually go with that same sort of $20, $25 bets. Because, I mean, man, if you hit a 80 to 1 guy at 25 to 1, I mean, that's $2,000. I can't get past Scotty Scheffler right now being such a massive favorite. And I did say to myself, if the Panthers somehow come back.
You said this to yourself last night.
I said this to myself last night. I went to pick up a sub, and it was 3 to 1 for Dallas. And I'm checking the phone. It's late second period. I said, if the Panthers come back in this game, I think I might just let this entire thing ride on Scheffler to win the player. So there may be a triple-digit wager on Scotty Scheffler on that, and still have some to throw on some others. But yes, an unbelievable night last night, and to the guys made it happen. Great work. You are making all of us smarter and better bettors. We're gonna try and come into winners on the games. But I have no shame whatsoever in leaning on the incredible stats and trends of Rod Z and the other picks for these players that are going on. And as I said, Dusty, I don't know if you could hear, we were 2 Marty Neckash shots away from getting the
other one.
Because the other guys all cleared it early, with the exception of Wyatt Johnson, who had a goal but didn't get his second shot until late in the third period. Everybody else was all over it. So the Caulfield, Nylander, McKinnon, of course. McKinnon's a shot machine. I mean, that's just one. You just take it every night. And the over 4.5, easy money on the even plus 100.
Tube Socks is in. Not everybody can be lucky. He goes, he missed on one game on a 10-game NCAA basketball parlay at plus 1937 last night. Basketball season, buddy. March Madness just around the corner. Yeah, well, I guess it's the conference tournaments right now. Yeah. And then we probably get the bracket on the weekend, right? Like, does it not start next It should be
week?
Selection Sunday. I'm pretty sure Sunday's Selection Sunday. So, yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm just thinking about next weekend in Vegas. Oh, wait a second. No, St. Patrick's Day is this weekend.
That's right.
If St. Patrick's Day ever coincides with the first round of the tournament, Las Vegas, Nevada becomes even more of a gong show than it could possibly be on any given weekend. But yeah, I'm fired up for the golf, but I'm also ready, and we should probably get into this a little bit before Pat comes in. We sort of fire it off, but we do have 4 games tonight.
We do.
Jets in action.
We do have 4 games tonight.
Have you put together an EST parlay?
I just texted it off to the boys. Hopefully it'll be up by the end of the show. I'll lay that one out here for you. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll dive into the hockey tonight. Then right before Patty comes on, I'll give you the Vegas qualifying word. Then we'll do all of our golf picks, and then when I send the boys off at the end, we will call our qualifier for the trip to Vegas. So if you're here for that word, make sure you are ready. I'll give you that around 11:20 today, right before P. Greggy hops on to talk golf. ESC parlay, when it is up, when it does hop up, it'll be McDavid in the classic over 1.5 point situation with both of his line mates riding shotgun tonight. Nugent Hyman with points and the Oilers in regulation. So McDavid over 1.5 points, Nugent Hyman points, and Oilers in reg tonight. That will be the EST parlay when that number eventually pops up over in the exclusive section of Coolbet. The 4 games tonight, like Huss said, in Winnipeg tonight, in Edmonton tonight. So a nice night for the lock shop. And another big game a little bit later on tonight as well. You're starting goalies for these games right now. Hellebuck is confirmed to start for the Winnipeg Jets. UC Saros unconfirmed for the Preds. Los Angeles and St. Louis. Binnington confirmed for the Blues. Cam Talbot right now listed as likely for the Kings. Stuart Skinner confirmed for the Oilers. Charlie Lindgren listed as unconfirmed for the Cavs. Hush, you said he was actually pretty steady on Monday. And then Casey DeSmith, obviously, with Demko out. DeSmith confirmed to start for the Canucks tonight. Georgiev unconfirmed at this point for the Colorado Avalanche. So that's your starting goaltender situation tonight, or at least what we know of it so far. Huss, what do you? What's the story in Winnipeg tonight? This is gonna be a great game against the. Is it got this? Does this have an under written all over it, or what? You're muted, Huss.
Sorry, the total's 5.5, so it doesn't get much lower than that. The under -104, the over -112. I do have, and I'll tease the lock shoppers with our WST parlay for tonight. We are going to go with Jets money line. We're going to go with the goal for the new guy, Tyler Toffoli.
Toffoli strikes.
And you know what? Toffoli was dangerous, man, last game. Like, he is just a shark for the soft areas of the ice in the offensive zone. And, he's playing with Monahan and Iafallo right now. We expect him at some point to play with Ehlers once Gabriel Velarde comes back. And you want to talk about a guy that creates space? Nikolai Ehlers is that dude. And, man, he can pass as well. Like, just watching that game, even with them not being on the same lines, got me fired up to see what that group will be potential of. But here's the thing about Toffoli. He's net front on the power play. He is always getting to the net. And with guys like Monahan and Iafallo that'll put those pucks on net, I mean, listen, I think there's a good chance that he gets this bump. He almost scored in his first game. He's a guy that scores big goals, and I do think this is going to be a tight, low-scoring game, as you mentioned. So we're going to go with Toffoli with a goal. And, I mean, Josh Morrissey just keeps on doing it night in and night out. We'll plop a Morrissey point as well on it. So Jets money line, which is -158, a Toffoli goal, which is 2-1, and Morrissey's point is -124. So we'll see what that cooks up and put that together in the exclusives. Yeah, I mean, Oilers huge favorites. Wow, -282. And I can't say that I'm surprised. That kind of looks like a puck line bet, to be honest. For thinking about Oilers. Although you can tell me more how they've been over the last little bit. I guess they just came off a loss, didn't they?
They came off that win over Pittsburgh, but they had lost to Buffalo the day before. They just came back from a very interesting 4-game road trip in which it kind of felt very meh, but they came away with 5 of a possible 8 points because they came back late on the Bruins, ended up winning that game. Then they lost to Columbus. Then they had a 2-0 lead on Buffalo, ended up losing first in overtime. That got called back with 2 seconds left. Then they lost in the shootout. And then they beat a Pittsburgh team that just doesn't have any juice. So, it was a weird road trip. Now they're launching a 4-game homestand, but they've had 2 days off, play Washington tonight, then 2 more days off. Then they get Colorado, then 2 more days off again. And then it's Montreal and Buffalo to kind of wrap up the homestand here. So I think this is a really nice spot for the Oilers tonight. The puck line does seem like the play here at -1.5. Obviously, in the EST parlay, we'll play them in regulation because we're adding in a few other things as well. But the standalone play tonight for the Edmonton Oilers and this game is probably on the Oilers -1.5. This is not got home from a trip, woke up the next day, had a quick practice, then played the next game. They came home, they had a day off, they had a practice day, and now they're going to be in action tonight against the Washington Capitals. So I do like the Oilers there. At Kings and Blues, Huss, what do you make of this one? The Kings on the road here, -158 favorites, total in that game, also set at 5.5, and then we'll get to Colorado and Vancouver a little bit later on. But what do you think about this Kings-St. Louis game?
Well, and again, I was at the rink watching the Jets-Caps game, but I was following that Boston-St. Louis game.
Yeah.
And I was somewhat stunned to see St. Louis run away with Boston the way they did. If we look at the NHL standings right now, and for all intents and purposes, I think the Hustler decision desk has pretty much put the E beside the St. Louis Blues. They are 9 points back of the Nashville Predators tonight, and they're 8 points back of the Los Angeles Kings. If they have any hope of even being relevant come April and having a chance to make the playoffs, they have to win this hockey game tonight. Binnington is going to be in net for them. You know, they've got to be feeling good about beating Boston the way they did. Like, I'm not a guy that has a lot of confidence in St. Louis on most nights, but I will say this, with their season on the line, they've already had their coach fired. I kind of like St. Louis as a pretty juicy home
good
dog
value as a home dog here on the Blues. You're right. As a standalone play. Yeah.
And listen, the Kings have been really good away from LA. They're 19-9-4. The majority of that was what I think they started 11-0 though. If I recall correctly. I mean, that crazy road run they had at the beginning of the season. And they did win their last game after getting just worked by the Dallas Stars. But I just think that this spot, I'm going to give St. Louis the benefit of the doubt that they're not folding up the tents. You know, if you beat Boston, one of the top teams in the league, the way they did on the road, I think there's a bump coming back, and there's no time for them to take any sorts of night off. So, to be honest, I think that they're undervalued in this game tonight. I mean, I can see them being an underdog in this game, but I think it probably makes more sense to have them as like plus 110 or plus 115 as
not
opposed
this plus 138,
plus 134.
Yeah.
So I do like the Blues. And then the other game that is interesting, and I see the lines just moved in this, is the Avalanche and the Canucks.
Where did it just move, or let me just see? Maybe let me refresh.
It just moved when I fired it up. Avalanche were minus 104 and the Canucks were minus 113. And now the Avalanche are even money and the Canucks are minus 117. Listen, this is a tough spot for Colorado.
Back to backs.
Played last night in Calgary. So, I mean, we can consider that. The other thing I'll say, though, is that Vancouver, I believe, has been off since Saturday. And that
they last played against Winnipeg. That was their last game.
Yeah. And that performance against the Jets was that of a number one, a first place hockey club that really, really took it. And I guess there's probably some revenge factors there in that the Jets went in and beat them just 2 Saturdays earlier on the home ice. But I was so impressed with Vancouver and what they did top to bottom. Again, no Demko. DeSmith was quite good. I just think this is a really tough spot for Colorado to go in against a very rested team, having just played. And I know they kind of came back and they cruised in the third period, but they were down early. And they scored 5 goals in the third period. So I don't mind the Canucks actually on the money line. I'll tell you what, the bet that I like the most of anything, though, and this is the gift that keeps on giving, it's Nathan McKinnon over 4.5 shots on goal. And this guy is just driving his team night after night. And I think this is going to be the sort of game where they almost lean on him even more, knowing what Vancouver's bringing to the table. So I do love the McKinnon shot prop in this game. What do you think about the Canucks? Are you kind of thinking more the momentum of the Avalanche running forth?
I mean, to be honest with you, I probably end up staying away from either side in this game and roll with what you were kind of saying on the props. Like there's like Mikko Rantanen, with how good he's been this year, to get him at plus 124 to score a goal is a really good number. Even Nathan McKinnon to score tonight's minus 109. You know, like pretty good numbers on these top end guys for Colorado. And what was the number on the shots here for McKinnon? It's
4.5. Minus 118.
Minus 118 on the 4.5 too. So I think that's probably where I'd end up going on that game tonight. Both of these teams, I mean, they both roll in having won 4 in a row. The Canucks having not played against Saturday compared to the team on back-to-back. I mean, that's what's that? 3 days off between games.
It can go both ways.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is that more or less of an advantage than rolling in after playing well last night? Right? I don't know if Rod Z has a trend on Canucks coming off 3 days of rest But I'd love to know what that type of number is for all NHL teams, to be honest with you.
So, here we go. Avs 8-0 versus the Pacific.
On like just straight up?
Yeah, 8-0 against the Pacific. And Rod Z also has, okay, he's with me on the Blues. The Kings have lost each of their last 7 games following a home win.
Yeah, I like the Blues play.
Avs 8-0. Avs 3-2 on the back-to-back. The Canucks are playing. Maybe I'm twisting myself back in the line. Maybe we go with the underdog Avalanche here. Because if we want to do a partner parlay, we basically need to pick both of these games and leave the Oilers and Jets games for the exclusives. Avs have failed to cover puck line as a dog in 4 straight, and they are a dog tonight. Marshall Kerr on the over. I don't mind the over as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like the over. I mean, if we're parlaying it, we can put the over down to 5.5 at -181. Put it with the Blues, it's plus 263. But even if we play it at 6.5, let me just flip it in here. Plus 332. Canucks and Avs over 6.5, and then the Blues on the money line at plus 134.
Well, how about we do that? Blues money line, over 6.5, and then let's add in the McKinnon shot prop.
Okay.
It's a very different WST parlay. I'll send it to Jake right now.
Okay, yeah. Fire it over to him. McKinnon over 4.5. Avs and Canucks over 6.5 goals.
Yep.
And then St. Louis money line at home plus 134.
Blues, ML. Avs, Canucks.
Yeah.
Over 6.5.
And then McKinnon on the shots.
McKinnon over 5. SOG. All right. Well, I mean, how could we not try and get back at it? And it's a little combination of
mixing a few things in here. I like it.
Of the 2 winners yesterday. We've got a side, we've got a total, we've got a shot prop. I like this. We're cherry picking some things that we like, putting it together, hopefully for another victory.
Pat Gregoire is going to join us momentarily. He's pulled over. He's driving today, but he's pulled over. He's going to join us for the Players' Championship on the side of the road. But let's get to our keyword for the Vegas giveaway right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It is a trip down to Vegas, 2 nonstop flights from Fly YEG straight down to Vegas, 3 nights accommodations. And then tickets to a Cirque show as well. The keyword, you just have to text it in. Don't waste it in the nasty chat. Fire it in right now to the text line at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Today's keyword for the lock shop is poker, Poker. Poker. Another Vegas term. Huss, are you a big poker guy?
You know what? I was for a long time.
You were, hey?
I took a long time off. Like, I don't mind playing some of the smaller tournaments when I'm in Vegas.
Yeah, I like those $75 you get in 2-3 hours, have some drinks.
But it is funny you bring that up because I got the bug in the last week. Well, basically when I was house ridden because I was so sick, I just was losing my mind. So I fired up my account and realized, ooh, I got a little scratch in here and played a few smaller tournaments. So I might get back into it a bit more, but I like a live game with a bunch of buddies, and I also like every now and then head down. Although, you know, it's funny. You get used to playing online, and then you play in a game like in a Vegas tournament or something like that, and it really presses you to remember that you have to be patient.
Yes.
Because the speed of the online game is so much. It's way easier just to fold hands in that nature as opposed to waiting, watching everything happen, shuffle, go forward. I mean, I do like the online play just because in the world of quick information and everything, I think we're kind of a little bit more of that. It does make the live games a little bit more challenging. By the way, Chad Moore has dropped the can't catch Gretzky.
Oh, we were talking about it this morning, buddy. We told everybody. Let's go. Zach to come, our very own. He's going to the game tonight. He said he's going to try to get it going. Can't catch Gretzky.
That's a beauty 300 level original from Winnipeg, but it makes even more sense in Edmonton. So have some fun with that tomorrow.
Well, as I said this morning, Winnipeg hates Gretzky. You know, Gretzky ruined a decade in Winnipeg. So if they can do it, then we can do it here in Edmonton. So, yeah, we were passing it along to everybody there. One more time, the key word today is poker. Text that in 780-218-9999. Stay by your phone. We'll call you around 11:50-ish today and get you in the mix, but make sure your phone is on.
I have a feeling that that chant may have something to do with the massive Ukrainian population in the city of Winnipeg. They might have been at the game
a little bit of an anti-play there too. Yeah.
It wasn't exactly a warm welcome for number 8, and he was invisible through pretty much the entire game as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight, but I will be hitting the Oiler puck line on that one as well. Although, you know, now that we're just taking the over and the shot prop, I think I might ride with Rod with the Canucks, Blues, and Oilers at plus 490 as well. As I say, there's a lot of momentum coming out of last night. I can see there being quiet. I just hope the momentum carries into what we're about to talk about with Pat.
Yeah, let's do it.
And that's the players.
We got Pete Gregoire. You ready to go, Zach? Let's bring in Pat Gregoire, who I think is pulled over on the side of the road somewhere. Pete Gregoire, I know you're still going to have better internet than Jake, but where are you right now?
Absolute ricochet.
Oh, no.
Jake there.
First
oh, no. Did I mush myself?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, no. He might not have better internet than Jake.
You guys, no problem.
Yeah, you can hear us. You're just a little...
okay, you're looking better now.
Yeah, as long as we can hear you even.
Are we good?
Yeah, let's just get into it. Let's get into it. We'll see how it goes.
We mushed ourselves. Yeah,
worst case scenario, if your internet really sucks, what we can do is we can call you and just get you on the phone to get everything. So, let's try this for a bit, and then we'll see what ends up happening. But, man, I totally blew it, guys. I should not have made the Jake internet joke. I feel awful right now.
Hey, Jesse, we win a couple bets last night. We're feeling a little too cocky, I think, in the lock shop today. Then the internet shots and it all come in. By the way, Pat, I did spend some time tuning in to the NLL on TSN, and I gotta say, was loving your work. It's always funny to see one of your boys, when we spend so much time talking about all this stuff, and obviously lacrosse isn't a massive thing in our markets. And then to throw the tube on a Saturday night and see a very well-dressed P. Gregoire just killing it for that. And that Rock Mammoth game was actually quite fun. A lot of goals, a lot of great plays, and it seemed like the hammer was turning out for the Toronto Rock right now in their new home.
Yeah, Huss, I appreciate the kind words, buddy. It was a great game. Colorado near the bottom of the standings, but they're a team that went to back-to-back finals over the last couple of years. So tough test for Toronto. They're absolutely buzzing. They're at the top of the standings. Got another doubleheader coming up this weekend in Halifax on Friday night, and then land back in Toronto, make the drive down to Buffalo, actually, for Toronto Rock against the Buffalo Bandits, one of the best rivalries in lacrosse. So super stoked for that. But in all seriousness, I really appreciate the kind words, buddy.
Patty, are you suit guy in the NLL? Like, you do dress sharp. Like, nobody compares, right?
There's some sharp-dressed gentlemen in the NLL when it comes to the broadcasts. Something I take pride in, no doubt, but certainly
part of the brand.
It's exactly got to stick out somehow, right? So
part of the brand.
Although if you guys keep cashing parlays, I'm gonna have to ask TSN to up my suit allowance because
you're gonna be wearing a paper bag. Yeah, paper bag on the next broadcast.
To be honest, this is why I'm in my car today. I'm going around town throwing out different resumes because I'm in jeopardy of not having a job.
That was a good night last night. That's for sure.
Before though, fellas, I heard you guys talking about poker. I know that is the keyword for today for the trip to Vegas.
Yeah.
Let's connect line. People forget Coolbet does have poker. maybe we do some sort of lock shop invitational poker
Man, I
tournament.
don't hate that
I
idea.
think there'd be something that we could
Yeah.
do. We could do something for that. I think we can make that work for sure.
100%.
A couple bounties on your guys' heads. I think we could do
bring
something
it.
good with that.
Bring it. I live my entire life like Mikey McDermott from Rounders, so let's see how it goes.
I tell you what, I mean, between the lock shop, EST, and WST,
you do a pretty good tourney.
We could probably
100%.
bang out something that would be very, very fun.
Yeah.
I'm fully on board on that. To be honest, I can't believe we hadn't thought of that.
I know. How did it not come up till we had a keyword that Awanik came up with? Like, I just don't understand how it took us 4 years to be like, yeah, that's a great idea. All right, let's get moving along here while the internet appears to be working for Patty. Pat, you go first, man. Lay it out for where'd you come up with your top 2 or 3 guys? And I don't know, are we still in like Scheffler comes out, dominates? Well, let's just start with Scotty Scheffler. I mean, Huss said it earlier. I mean, everywhere I look, a lot of the research I do, like all the numbers are backing up a Scheffler dub. A lot of the experts are just straight up picking Scotty Scheffler here. Patty, are you able to look past the big man in this event?
It's hard not to, especially if he's going to putt like the way that he putt last week.
Crazy.
With that being said, though, how many times have we seen Scotty Scheffler be able to put 2 weekends in a row with some stellar putting? Hasn't happened very often. But with that being said, even if he's just like half as good as he was on the greens, there's a good chance he could run away with this thing, quite frankly. But maybe again, it's something where you look after round 1 and consider a live bet where you can get a bit of a better number. That would be maybe my one suggestion. Another suggestion that you could do as well. It's not as good as a number, but I thought a fun exclusive that we have is Rory and Scotty against the field. So if you're too afraid to put all your marbles into Scotty at that low number, you can get a little bit of insurance. Another guy that's won this tournament, had some success as well, could go with that. But I'm kind of pissed off. I'm just thinking of this right now. And maybe we can still get it up. It might not be too late, but maybe it's some sort of like Scotty minus 2.5 strokes, or Scotty to win by 3 strokes or whatever it may be. That way you can get a little bit of a number. And let's be honest, if he's going to win this thing, there's a good chance he might win by 1 or 2 strokes anyway. So that's something that just popped in my brain right now, much like the poker. Having a great brain day today, fellas.
Great ideas when you're in the car on the side of the road, Pat. I mean, this is just brilliant stuff. Where is this the rest of the time,
I know, right? I might have to move my home office into my car here. But in terms of other options for betting, Justin Thomas, I really think that this is an opportunity for him. He's won this event. And to be quite honest, when you look at just where he's finished so far this year, and when you look at the analytics, he's right there. There's not too many other golfers that are not only playing better than him, but consistently each and every week. The putting obviously is a bit of concern. The fact that he hasn't really been able to put a true 4 rounds together to close out victories, also a little bit of cause concern. But this tournament, I know they call it the 5th major, but when you look at the past 4 or 5 years, it really is the big names that do win this. And so I'm probably going to stay away from too many of the long shots. So JT's there. Hovland's another guy that I think his course comps work really well. And if you actually look over the last 24 rounds, in Florida golf, nobody's played better than Victor Hovland. So I think he's a guy that plays well here in Florida. He's a guy that can play well at this course. When you look at, he's not just a bomber, he's an accurate driver. And you got to be able to keep the ball in play here, at Sawgrass. There's a lot of water. There's a lot of tricky holes. And I think Hovland fits the mold there. My third pick is Minwoo Lee. I think the putting is a bit of concern, obviously. But when you look at his skill set, the ball striking, the accuracy off the tee, his scrambling ability, Minwoo is a guy that I think fits this well. And Haas, you were on Minwoo before I think anyone really was. This was his breakout spot. He finished T6 here. In 2023, he's off to a really good start. He did have that runner up at the Koznikin Classic And, he's a shot maker. He's a guy that just comes up with big. I like Mamu. So those are my top 3 picks. I'll probably throw out more like top 10, top 5 placings on Twitter, because I think there's a little more, not necessarily value, but I think with the fact that if Scotty putts like he did last week, wrap it up quick, he might win this thing. So in order for you to get some money, you might actually have to look at the top 5, the top 10, top 20 markets, maybe even, some cuts. But again, maybe that's me being a little bit pessimistic, but man, after watching what Scotty did, I have a hard time not thinking that there's a good chance he just runs this thing back.
And one thing that it's important to note, and again, I've told this story many times, but before Abbott even got in touch with me and we started working with Coolbet, I was playing there because the golf odds were consistently better than everywhere else. And the thing that I listen, when you're talking about most of other hockey games or football games, the spreads are usually the same. I mean, listen, there's still probably a little bit of an edge on Coolbet, but it's not as great. With the golf and tournaments like this, it always shows itself big time. Like I'm seeing some of these numbers, like put it this way, people were talking about how we've never seen a number as big as Rory at 13 or 14 to 1. Well, Rory's 16 to 1 at Coolbet. And once you get past Rory at 16, and this also speaks to what a prohibitive favorite Scheffler is, the numbers on these other guys in a tournament like this, almost inconceivable even a month ago. I mean, Xander and JT, 25 to 1. Max, Homa, Vic, 28 to 1. Those are the only players in the field under 30. I mean, just for folks that are listening right now that don't have it up, Cantlay, Morikawa, 30 to 1. Willie Z, who I think a lot of people are backing this week, and he's given them reason to feel good about, at 30 to 1. And I mean, then you get to a group at 40 to 1, which is your boy Ludwig Elberg, Hideki Matsuyama, Jordan Spieth. Sam Burns is now at 45 to 1. He's been in the mix lately, along with Henley, Lowry, and then 50s of Cam Young, Siwoo Kim, Tommy Fleetwood, and Wyndham Clark. All that being said, from my perspective, and Pat, I don't know if you caught the start of the show, I was watching the incredible lock shop night last night with the shot prop and then the McKinnon goal and feeling good about that. And I said to myself as I was picking up a sub, if somehow the Florida Panthers can rally in this third period, I'm taking what I got from the partner parlay yesterday and just hammering it on Scotty Scheffler to win this tournament. Like, that's the thing, is you have to bet considerably more than I would normally do when I'm usually picking guys at 35 to 1 and 40 to 1 on a guy that's plus 575. But as much as I'm gushing over all these great numbers on all these other really good players, none of that matters if Scheffler runs away with this thing. And I think there's a real chance that he does. Like, and here's the other thing about it. I mean, Scheffler does everything great. I know when we're looking at guys like who can pop at this tournament, like it's very, very difficult to handicap, other than the fact that it seems like over the last, since they've moved it to May, or March, I should say, it's always been the big guys winning. I mean, it has been a who's who of the tour that have been getting into the winner's circle. But you don't have to be the monster driver of the golf ball in this tournament. What you need to do is know where your ball is going. Exactly. Because with all the sand and especially the water, if you're spraying it at all, that's when you've got a real problem. Like when Cam Smith won this tournament, I think he was like minus 5 shots off the tee.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But he just didn't get wet. And that was the reason why that he won. But I mean, when you break this thing down on every single metric, it's Scotty Scheffler's tournament to lose. And that's why we're seeing, in a field of 144, the lowest number that I've ever seen. But listen, I'm putting a big one on Scotty in this event. That's where I'm going to go. I am going to put a smaller wager on Victor Hovland because I think at Like the value of Vic at 28 to 1.
We'll never get it ever again.
No, exactly. And I don't mind, if Scotty doesn't win, I think he's the next guy, even though I'm expecting Scheffler to do it. And I'll tell you what, I don't mind that Min Woo pick as well. I just threw a little sprinkle on that while you were talking about it too, to back it up. But the two guys that I was looking long and hard with, and I will definitely be betting Vic, I might put a 20 or something on Will Zalatoris to have a piece of Willie, because he really has turned around his game right now. And I mean, this is all about strokes gained approach, and his irons are dialed in right now. But again, there's just no one dialed in like Scotty Scheffler. And then when all of a sudden he started putting the way he did last week, I mean, it's really hard to go any other way. So, if you want to put something on Vic, Will Zalatoris, go for it. I'm going to do smaller bets just to, get in that same range. But unlike normally where I'll pick, especially for a bigger tournament like this, and fire on 4 or 5 guys in that mid-range, this is a different approach this week for me. But it's going to be a chunk on the favorite at plus 575.
I wanted to throw something out here because I totally forgot to bring up this stat. But last year, Scheffler won the Players by 5 strokes. He did that while only gaining 0.02 stroke gains putting. That's middle of the pack. And he still won
Comfortably.
by 5 freaking strokes. He gained 4.32 from tee to green. That is the best strokes gained since the tracking era began at that tournament. So not only is it recent form with him, how good he looked last week, he's dominated this place last year, and he was putting like shit. So what's he going to do if he putts like he did last week?
Yeah.
He might run away. And we talked about it last year. If he was a mid-pack tour level putter last year, he probably wins 8 to 10 events. That's at least what the
You're talking like
say.
one of the greatest seasons of all time. If Scotty Scheffler could putt
all
last year.
time.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that water finds its level and maybe he doesn't quite get to where his putting needs to be? But there's no way this generational golfer cannot figure it out on the greens. He figured it out last week. He'll never be an outstanding putter. Let's just get it straight. But if he can just be bang average, man, holy smokes, this could be.
This is the new narrative, Dusty. Scotty Scheffler drove all of those guys to live.
Yeah, that's what it is. They had to get away from him. They just had to. We'll try to reconnect with Pat Gregoire. We're going to put together a little parlay here. Let me lay out a couple of other options. You mentioned some of these guys already, Huss. I got one guy in the low 20s, a guy in the 30s, and a guy in the 40s here. You already talked about Zalatoris. I told you yesterday I was going to be on Zalatoris. One of the things that you said was this is all about strokes gained on approach. And Zalatoris has been absolutely knocking it out of the park. At Bay Hill, gained 5 strokes on approach. Back-to-back starts, absolutely ripping the ball. 2nd at the Genesis, 4th at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. His putting, he's got this new putter that the new way he's putting is working extremely well. And you can get him at 33 to 1. I'm pretty sure Zalatoris will be somewhere in the mix. I am going to look at Max Homa at 28 to 1. He's been close to success here. The last 2 trips here, T13 in 2022, T6 in 2023. He's got 4 top 20s in 2024, despite, I'd say somewhat of an average start. And he finished T8 at Bay Hill, and that was after firing a 73 to close it. And he still finished top 10 with a bad 73 on Sunday. So I like Max Homa there at 28 to 1. And then in that 40 range, one of the guys, like you mentioned a few guys in the 40s, I was like, man, there's some good value further down the board here. And Shane Lowry at 45 to 1. I think we know Shane Lowry can win the big events. We've seen him do it. He's a major champion. He is 6th in the field in approach in his past 24 rounds. So Shane Lowry is certainly capable of finding what you need here. Great start on the Florida swing, T4 and third. He's got 2 top 15s here since 2021, and he's playing extremely well. So he's got the form, he's got the history, he's got the keys that you'll probably need to win here and how well he's been approaching lately. So I like Shane Lowry at 45-1, Zalatoris at 33-1, Home at 28-1. I was considering JT. I know Patty had him on his card a little bit earlier on. But I think we're gonna reconnect with Pat here, and we'll put together this little parlay. We'll bring him back in. He's just resetting up his camera, and we'll bring him back in. But Huss, any thoughts on Shane Lowry at 45-1?
You know what? I mean, listen, I think Lowry's been really, really quality for the majority of this year, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him in the mix. I'm not going to back him to win it outright. But listen, I think you could definitely, I mean, like what if you wanted to just throw Lowry at like Lowry top 10, 3-1, Lowry top 20 plus 135. But as far as the parlay goes, I mean, I think this just sort of fell our way.
Okay.
What do you think about this? Scotty Scheffler top 5.
Okay.
He's plus 120.
I do like that.
Patty's got Vic. We put Vic in for top 10 at plus 225.
And
we put Will
Zalatoris
in for top 10 at 225.
So 2 top 10s and a top 5.
I mean, I guess if we wanted to, let's just see.
What's Zalatoris if we go Zalatoris top 20? What if we go top 5, top 10, top 20?
Plus 115. I actually don't mind that. Whoa. It still is like over 14-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Let's do that. Pat tried to reconnect, but I think we lost him again. So, all right. So let's text that off to the boys. Scheffler top 5, Vic top 10, Zalatoris top 20. I like this. I like this one a lot. I like the top 5, top 10, top 20. That's good. That'll be up in the exclusives page. We'll get that. Huss is sending over. I'm gonna a couple of notes. A quick note here from Jake says all the parlays are online. Unfortunately, you have to click more. They got so many exclusives over there right now. So when you go to the exclusives page at Coolbet, if you don't see them, click more, and the Winnipeg Sports Talk parlay and the Edmonton Sports Talk parlay both pop up. Toffoli with a goal, Morrissey a point, and the Jets to win plus 450. McDavid 2 points, Nugent Hyman with a point each, and the others in reg plus 315. And that is where you'll be able to find our lock shop partner parlay. Oh boy, look at this one. St. Louis to win, Canucks and Avs over 6.5, and McKinnon with 5+ shots on goal plus 725. So that one's also available. And then we'll have this golf one up. You got to get on right away, obviously, with the tournament beginning tomorrow. So let's see. Rod Z's and it says Vic Hovland plus 110 for a top 20. I don't mind that one. Obviously, there's some nice plus numbers you can get on some of these guys that we're expecting to have pretty good tournaments. So
we may need to find out. We may need to talk about the back end is to either because there is some like random, like as someone that's on the Coolbet every day. Like I don't know what the ace pot parlay is. Is that open at Austin?
Buddy, that's disc golf, I think. Wide world of wagering. Ooh. I think that's disc golf. I could be wrong, but somebody pointed out earlier and said that's disc golf.
I may have to jump on that. Just who's putting that together? I need to get them on the show sometime to come on and talk to us about
disc golf. Yeah.
About disc golf. Or maybe we'll do it when things settle down with hockey and we need a little bit more in the summer, we'll get a guest on sometime to fill us in on the lock shop. But either that or start getting, we put the lock shop partner parlays, the EST and WST specials in that lock shop section. So that it could always be there. But anyways, we'll figure that out.
We're gonna pop Pat back in here quickly. Just run this parlay by him. There he is. Patty, so while you were gone, we decided to do this.
Okay.
You can still veto it if you want, but we think you'll like it. Scotty Scheffler top 5, Vic top 10, Zalatoris top 20.
I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it.
We knew you would.
It's almost a Greggy Golf special. Let's be honest. I love it. It's beautiful. which might be bad news for the nasty chat and the riders. But hey, I think we talked about it, man. This is the big dogs eat here. The big dogs eat at the Players. It's the 5th major of the year, the unofficial major, whatever you want to call it, which I think it's a discussion for another day. It's kind of hard for them to claim that now that,
They
guys
don't,
on
you know
LIV
what?
are
They don't
playing,
say
but
it anymore. Now that LIV has started, they don't even mention it's the 5th major anymore.
yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. I was listening to the Pat Mayo Experience, and they were talking about how all of a sudden they don't call it the 5th major anymore, and it just so happens it's when LIV has popped out of nowhere.
All right, Huss, what's coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk? I got to call a qualifier here before we wrap, but what do you got on WST?
Well, we're getting fired up for this hockey game tonight. We're going to do a tee up Jets Preds. We're going to head to Nashville, find out everything going on, and we'll be putting together. Oh, we do have a chat here from boys. Are there any sign-up promos for Coolbet that we still have? Yes. You just put in code LOCKSHOP, and you get a 100% bonus up to $2 on your first deposit. So first time you deposit, lock shop in the promo code, 100% bonus up to $200 if you want to ride with us and get in on that. But yeah, we're getting ready for tonight's game. Rod and Tesh is going to jump on with us. Lots of hockey talk tonight and a little bit more on the golf as well.
All right, boys. Patty,
One more thing.
One
more thing. Jake will kill me if I don't get this in. Hockey Hall winner for the month of January. It was a short month. We know that. I guess an extra day with the leap year. But thank you to everyone who's continued to partake. And surprise, surprise, it's another lock shopper. It's another ESTer. Darren Geddes.
All right.
Darren Geddes is our winner for the month of February. So I think we've had someone from WST. We've had someone from EST. We've had lock shop specific guys. One guy from the East Coast. So, but we've kind of had all over the. Next up, BC, it's your turn. How about you get involved?
All right, congratulations to Darren Geddes for winning the Hockey Hall for last month. Pat, you enjoy your weekend. I know we'll catch up with Jake a little bit later on in the week. Huss, you have a good show today, buddy.
You too. Fill Gazzola in on how he should mute his mic.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I know. Tommy's in the waiting room for Oil Stream. Boys could hear him there. Yeah, it's all fired up. All right. Let's call our qualifier here. We had the keyword in earlier. If you missed it, you missed it. But that's okay. It is a trip to Vegas. You're going to be one step closer to having about a 1 in 140 shot of winning a trip to Vegas. Non-stop flights to over 50 destinations from FlyYEG. Our EST Flyaway, presented by FlyYEG, and the LVCVA. 2 nonstop flights, 3 accommodations, tickets, 3 nights accommodations, and tickets for a Cirque show. Zach, to come, who we have qualifying here?
We got Southside Ty texting in, and that's who we got as our qualifier on the other line.
All right, let's go to Southside Ty. Southside Ty, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Have you been to Vegas?
Be a qualifier. Yes, I have a few times.
Few times, so you know Vegas. You know what you be getting into here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Sin City?
Little underrated, but the Canada bar out by the D on Fremont.
Okay.
The only place in Vegas has mostly Canadian on tap, so got to go for that.
I love it, man. That's every single time we ask somebody, what's your favorite part? It's been a different answer every single time, which is why Vegas is as awesome as it is. All right, man. You are one step closer to winning the nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to a Cirque show, courtesy FlyYEG. Best of luck, man, and tell your friends about EST.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Southside Ty, congratulations. He is our qualifier today here on a game day for the trip down to Vegas. Good news is you got another chance to qualify. Just showed a keyword around 12:40 today. Well, 12:40 on the oil stream. So make sure you stick around for the oil stream. That's going to be coming up right away. Tommy Gazzola, it's a game day. We'll be at Hudson's tonight for pre and post game. If you want to make plans, Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall, Hudson's, a lot of the EST crew. Not officially like a watch party for us, but a lot of us are rolling down for that game tonight between the Oilers and the Capitals. We'll continue to set that up coming up next. If you've been watching today on YouTube, make sure auto play is on. That'll take you right on over to the oil stream. You won't miss a minute of it. If you're listening on iHeart channel or on TuneIn Radio or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, small dose of Whale and the Wolf, and then boom, right into the oil stream here on a game day with myself and Tom Gazzola. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Lock Shop today. Good luck tonight. I don't know if we can run it back like we did last night. What a night that was. That's one to remember in the Lock Shop there on a Tuesday, and we will talk to you tomorrow.